This crypto project attracted Ripple to invest in its token sale, and it recently had a public sale which already ended, but it's massively oversubscribed. This is Squid Router. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna break down what Squid Router is, what's their product, the QUID tokenomics, and my QUID price prediction. Let's get into it. As a disclaimer, this video is not financial advice. Be responsible with your own decisions. Thank you very much. First, what exactly does Squid Router do? Well, Squid is basically a cross-chain router. So let's say you have USDC stablecoin on Ethereum, but you want to buy something on Solana. Well, normally there are two ways. You'd have to bridge your funds, wait for the transfer, swap into the right token, and pay fee along the way, or you can use a CX. It's pretty annoying, and if something goes wrong, your funds can get stuck or frozen. But Squid makes that much simpler. Instead of doing everything yourself, it handles the whole process in just one transaction. It finds the best possible route across more than 100 blockchains, including Ethereum, Solana, Cosmos, Bitcoin, and XRPL. It also supports over 20,000 tokens and pulls liquidity from more than 130 decentralized exchanges. For developers, it's very easy to integrate Squid into their product as well. They can use the Squid product through an SDK, an API, or a ready-made widget. Now, according to the team, the transactions usually finish in under 5 seconds, very fast if you talk about a bridge. And the network has around 99.99% uptime, so almost 100, and they have 24/7 support. Now, all of that sounds great, right? But do people actually use it? Well, the answer is yes. Since their launch in January 2023, Squid has processed more than $6 billion in volume. Now, that's with a B. It has handled over 4 million transactions, served more than 1 million users, and it has been integrated into over 1,000 applications, including big names like MetaMask, Ledger, and Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. For 2026, the growth has continued strong. In just Q2 2026 alone, another 36 teams integrated Squid to their product, bringing the total number of integrations to over 1,700 projects. Now, that is an insane amount of number. And the Squid project also says that it has gone through multiple security audits, about 9 so far, and hasn't had any major exploits. Very good signs. Funding is also another positive sign. Squid team has raised about $13.3 million across 3 funding rounds. The latest was a $6 million round in May 2026, led by North Island Ventures, with Polychain also participating. Now, the one thing that I found especially interesting about Squid is Ripple. Ripple isn't just using Squid's technology for RLUSD, it's also an investor in the project. Now, that is something very different. That doesn't guarantee success, obviously, but it's definitely a strong signal since Ripple tends to be very selective about the projects that it backs. So overall, the fundamentals of Squid looks absolutely solid. The product has real users, real integrations, strong investors, and the adoption continues to grow. But a good product doesn't always make a good token investment, as you all know, right? So next, let's look at the token sale and the tokenomics itself of the QUID token and see if the opportunity is actually worth it. All right, first, let's get into the QUID tokenomics. If you scroll down to the QUID tokenomics right down here, then the first thing that stood out to me personally is the allocation. Now, more than 64% of the supply belongs to the investors, the team advisors, and the strategic partners. The investors, they took about 30.4%. That's an insane amount of allocation for the investors, right? But none of those tokens will unlock at the TGE, right? Obviously, because they all have a 12-month clips, and after the clips is done, they got unlocked about 25% at the same rate. And then each of these categories, investors, teams, strategic partners, they got like nearly vested to about 24 to 36 months. To be frank, I don't like the fact that they spent too much supply for the investors and the partners, more than 40%, and also the team takes up about 24% as well. This is one of the highest allocation for the investors or the early investors or private, angels, whatever that I've seen with crypto projects, right? Obviously, yeah, first year it won't be too alarming because most tokens are locked away. But like 1 year after the TGE, after the clip, it would be a crucial date to keep in mind for the quid holders because about 75% of 40% will be unlocked, and that's like a lot of tokens out there. The rest of the tokens go to the public sale, which takes up about 5%, and then the ecosystem growth about 7.5%, and the foundation treasury about 23.16%. But to be honest, we can take this as another quote unquote a team allocation because they control it, right? But yeah, for the TGE unlock, the public sale will be 100%, which is the Legion and Kraken sale. For the ecosystem growth, 93% will be unlocked at TGE. If I do the math correctly, about 70 million tokens will be unlocked. And then for the foundation treasury, 10%, about 23 million tokens will be unlocked. All right. And there are, several vesting schedules as well. But all in all, if you add everything up, roughly around 148 million tokens, let's say 150 million tokens in circulation, or about 15% of the total supply will be out in circulation. Now, this number is relatively low float, right? To be honest with you, at the sale price of about 4.5 cents, that works out to a circulating market cap of roughly $6.7 million. So let's round it up to $7 million in market cap. And the FTV is still $45 million. Most token launches are structured this way, their tokenomics. Plus, there's also no traditional airdrop for existing users. Instead, the team says that they'll focus on rewarding long-term participation through other mechanisms, right? And this is a very strong combo. Low float, low FTV initially, low market cap, right? With big CX listings, we know Kraken's gonna list them, and heavily controlled circulating supply, right? No additional airdrops to the people, only the public sale, all right? And it's only like 5%, right? This is a very positive setup for quote unquote great upside potential, if you know what I mean. The utilities of the Quid tokens is that Squid plans to add things like staking, governance, buybacks, and in app perks over time, although those features are still subject to governance and they could change. Now that we've checked all of the mechanics of the Quid tokens ourselves, here's the Quid public sale recap. By the time of making this video, the sale has already ended. They raised about $27 million, about 2,700% oversubscribed of the target of only $1 million soft cap and $2.2 million in hard cap. The sale is on Ethereum, and the token that you used to buy is USDC. About 3,500 in applications or interested investors applied for this sale. So that's a very bullish number. The token sale was just ended, so we still don't have much details about allocations and how much each participant will receive in terms of allocation. It will be announced though by July 8th on Wednesday, so about 2 days from now. For the TGE, it's targeted at Q3 2026. No specific date announced, as with most of the Legion sale. All right, this is very normal. It's fine. It's not a red flag or anything. Now, personally, launching in Q3 2026 is a good time because I think in Q3 2026, we're going to see market recovering a little bit from the recent dump. And in Q4, I think Bitcoin will recover more strongly. So I think this is very good sign for the QUID holders because they're launching at a very, very fortunate time. So congratulations if you were to be able to participate in the Legion sale and get your allocations. Right, before we move on to my QUID price prediction and what I think the price targets of QUID is, let's talk about the reason why I'm bullish and also a little bit bearish about the QUID token and QUID router. First, let's talk about my bullish reasons. Okay, number one, 12-month clips on more than 64% of the supply. Now, this is very standard with all token, and it's also a good sign because if you pay close attention to the crypto market, a lot of the projects with low float, low FTV, heavily controlled supply, and no additional airdrop or not a lot of airdrops in community, they tend to do really well after only a couple of days. If they got listed on top exchanges like Binance, for example, even Binance Alpha, right? Or Bybit and then Kraken and Coinbase, then that token normally do very well right after listing. Normally I see them 2x, 3x, even 5x easily, especially in the in the case of QUID, where the FTV and the market cap is only like $6 million and $45 million in FTV. Very, very low for the market makers to pump the price up no problem. Number two is the good number. All right. They already handled about $6 billion in volume and integrated into more than 1,700 projects in crypto. I can't even name like 100 projects in crypto right now. And they're integrated within 1,700 projects, over 1,700 projects. So that's an insane amount of number. That's an insane amount of success from the project. So yeah, there are definitely real demands and real volumes for the project. And the reason number three is that there are major exchange listings beyond Kraken, right? So Kraken hosting the sale is also is already a very strong signal, right, with Legion as well. And those projects tend to be listed on Binance as well as Coinbase, right, in the long term, right? So I'm looking for those listings, all right? If they announce like a Binance Alpha listing or Binance Spot listing, and then Kraken, for example, and then maybe after that, a Upbit listing, that would really add the liquidity and the FOMO to the people. With that said, there are several reasons why I'm a little bit cautious about, Quid, but not really like cautious, but just a little bit cautious. Now, the reason number one is the ecosystem growth unlock. About 75 million tokens are allocated, and 93% will be unlocked at TGE. So let's say 70 to 72 million tokens are unlocked at TGE. This number is way higher than a public sale of only 50 million tokens, right? So I don't know what this ecosystem growth is going to be used on and for what reason, right? If they're used for wrong reasons, then it's going to get dumped and that's not looking good, for the holders, obviously, right? But I think this is like a mild, very mild red flag. Not a red flag really, but just a signal for you to look at. So you need to pay close attention to what the foundation is doing with the ecosystem growth and their initiatives. If you like what they're doing, if you think that that's good for the ecosystem, then yeah, that's not, a bad sign at all. Now, for the reason number two is the TGE date. Now, it's undisclosed, it's not announced, right? So they can just delay it if they want to, obviously, right? So, I mean, any delay or messy launch, it tends to add that sort of fear to the people, right? And drain the momentum, which is being very heavily built up right now. Okay, so I hope that they don't delay the TGE and they're gonna release it at in time, right? But if they delay it, that's a little bit of a bad sign. And the final reason why I am a little bit bearish about Quid is the 12-month clip for the investors, the partners in the team, right? It's just a lot of tokens out there for them, right? 64% in total, and only 1 year cliff. And after that, 25% will be unlocked. That's a lot of tokens after 1 year, after year one. So personally, I think that it's a good investment, quote unquote, for the short term. But after 1 year, we're gonna have to, recalculate. Finally, let's move on to my price prediction about Quid. Where do I think Quid will hit after the TGE? Now, first, I want to be very upfront and be honest. This is just my pure opinion, speculative, not a financial advice. Okay, so double check everything and be responsible with your own investment. Okay, this is just my opinion. Short term, in the first few weeks of trading, I could see this project launching between $100 million and $150 million in FDV, meaning a more than 2x of the sale price. This is, I think, they can achieve this very easily. It's only $150 million in FDV, and in terms of market cap, it's only about 12 to $15 million in market cap. Peanuts, to be honest with you. If listings go smoothly with big exchanges and the market stays friendly, right? Bitcoin's going sideways and up a little bit, people are still FOMO. Yeah, 3 times the sales price is very doable. Medium term speaking, around 6 months. Well, if Squid keeps growing volume and actually activates staking governance, a lot of utilities, good signs, then I'd say 200 to even $400 million plus FDV is also very realistic if this project has a good market maker. Overall, my action plan is this. Now, what I'm doing is this. I'm going to buy this token immediately at TGE as soon as I see them listing on Binance Alpha or Coinbase or Upbit exchange, right? If I see them listed on those exchanges, especially on Binance, I'm going to get in, I'm going to buy them immediately at TGE, and I'm going to be waiting for them to pump to 150 million or even 200 million if possible. I'm going to sell. I'm going to wait. I'm going to get in the dip at around $100 million and lower, and then just wait for a few months. And then I'm going to sell again if they ever hit $400 million in FTV, right? And that's it for my video about Squid Router, what it is, how it works, its product, its token QUID, tokenomics breakdown, and what I think about the QUID token and what I am doing personally to profit from the QUID launch. All right. If you like the video, make sure to comment down below what you think about QUID and like and subscribe to CryptoNinjas for more contents like this. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Daily out.